Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Chard here. All right, so tomorrow is the new Velocity Crate. It's pretty exciting. It's really interesting. It's a new 80s theme, and I'm kind of interested to see that. You know, the 80s theme's been pretty successful in a lot of things, like Stranger Things, the TV series on Netflix, and Thor Ragnarok. So I'm interested to see how this crate does. There's not a lot of hype currently for it. Like, I'm not noticing a lot of hype. More than likely due to the fact that Psyonix kind of just like quietly released an announcement about it. It wasn't in big fanfare. There was only just 2 pictures, 2 screenshots of some of the items, and not a lot of teasers and stuff like that. So I don't know if the lack of hype is because of that, or just people are just tired of new crates. I'm not sure, but I'm really curious to see how the community reacts when it comes out. With that said, today we're going to talk about profit. How can you profit off the new Velocity Crate? I did a similar video with the Accelerator Crate, so if you want like really detailed advice about every new crate that comes out, go watch that video. I'm just going to touch on it real shortly on this video because I also want to talk about some of the items that I recommend you consider investing in if you're trying to make profit in the next month or so. So the 4 tips that I talked about in the Accelerator Crate, which are going to carry to this crate as well, are sell the crate immediately. Day 1, hour 1, go grind the game and earn as many crates as you can, so that way you can sell them at top dollar. The crate's never worth more than when it's first released, because you have people like, you have YouTubers, you have speculators and traders, investors, all these people who are trying to get the items in the first hour on the first day, because that's when there's the most hype and excitement. So people are paying top dollar for the crate. So if you're out there, if you have the ability, go grind the crate, earn as many as you can, and then sell them as soon as you can. And you're going to want to do that on like discord.gg/trade or discord.gg/trade central, or even my own Discord channel. All the links in the description below. So feel free to hit those up and sell them right away. Now, my second tip is to buy keys. Now, again, I just told you to sell your crates. So what do you need keys for? Well, because key value always goes up when a new crate comes out. Keys are extremely cheap right now. They were as low as 0.68. They've gone up to 0.75 again because of the new crate coming out. Now, it is the day before the Velocity Crate, so it might be a little bit too late. Just what you're going to need to do is watch on how the community reacts to the crate. If you see a ton of YouTubers opening crates, if you see a lot of people opening crates, then that's when you know it's time to start buying the keys, if it's not already too late, right? You want to be able to have tradable keys, because people, when they buy keys from a Psyonix, it has a 7-day cooldown. So nobody wants to use keys that aren't cooled down to open crates in the first day, because then you can't trade away those items for profit. So if you have tradable keys, then you're going to be able to sell them for a higher rate than you would normally, essentially. Again, all due to the hype around the crate. So just watch like YouTube and see how many YouTubers open crates, see if they're continuously opening crates, you know, things like that, and watch crate prices. If the crate prices drop in the first hour or two to like, or the first night down to like 2 or 3 keys like it did with the Accelerator Crate, then buying keys is a really bad idea, because there's not going to be a huge demand for them. Now, the third tip was to buy items that have depressed in price due to the hype around the new crate. Now, again, this crate's kind of unique. There's really not a lot of hype to it, so the prices haven't really been hit by it. I've seen some things kind of going down, like the white Zombas, for example. Not a lot, but a little bit. But that's more due to the changes to the PCC crate, not necessarily the Velocity Crate. So I'm not really seeing a lot of prices. But with that said, I still think it is a good time to buy some items, and we're going to talk about that towards the end of the video when I get into the discussions of the market prices and what items that I would recommend investing, or doing your own research, basically, what items that I predict will go up in the future. Now, the last tip is CrateTimer.com. My buddy Jawbreaker made this site based on his crate theory. If you don't know who he is, check out his YouTube channel. He has literally the most insane crate luck. Like, I'm extremely jealous because he's unboxed, I've completely lost track, like 50 black market decals. Like, I have no idea, but his crate luck is nuts, and you can go watch it on his YouTube channel if you want. But anyways, he developed this site. It's really cool. It's called CrateTimer.com. It's basically a timer that tells you when to open the crates based on his theory to get better luck. I've had countless tweets from people saying, "Hey, Jawbreaker's crate theory, thank you so much. I got this item, that item, whatever." So it's pretty cool to see people using that. And again, don't use that site. Don't open crates because of this site. Only open crates if you want to open crates, and if you're gonna do it no matter what, then use this site, because there's no guarantee that it works. It's just a theory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to be disappointed if you only have 20 keys and you decided to go use the 20 keys to open crates and you didn't get something good. You know, like, just use common sense, guys. Okay, so moving on. Next, I want to talk about the different kind of hot items in the trading scene right now. Like, what's going to be going up, what's going to be going down, what types of things should you be looking out for to maximize your profit. And again, this is all based on so I've gauged the community through polls. I've gauged 5 traders outside of myself to get their input. And so I'm basically just trying to get as much data as I can to help you guys, if you're trying to invest to make money in this game, what items you should be looking out for to invest in. So we're going to be talking about things that we talked about in the last video. In videos going forward, I'm going to focus on more items and more community input and stuff like that. But this one is real short just because I want to talk about the velocity crate first. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about are keys. Now, if you saw the last video, the majority of the community voted down that the key prices would go down. They were wrong, because the velocity crate came out, or is coming out, and the key prices have actually gone up. Today's the community is saying, the majority of them are saying that key prices will stay where they're at, but it really, again, just depends on how the velocity crate is received. If it does well, key prices will continue to go up, and it also depends on the supply. So we might see key prices go up as much as 0.85. Currently, they're around 0.75. They were as low as 0.68. So myself and a bunch of other traders think they're going to go up, and I think the target's probably around 0.85 US dollars per key. All right, next up we have painted octanes. These things have been going nuts. Like, I heard like the gray octane was like as much as like 7 keys now for a gray octane. It doesn't even look barely painted at all. So the painted octanes are going nuts. Now, again, with any item, you have to be careful about bubbles, okay? Because if you get all that panic buying, which could be happening to painted octanes right now, if you get all that panic buying, eventually you reach a point where people don't want to pay that much money, and then you get a ton of panic selling. But with painted octanes, though, I think it's a little bit different, because it's fundamentally a really smart decision. All right, octanes are the most popular car in the game, and as far as we've seen, will remain the most popular car in the game. Psyonix has released new cars back to back. Every new crate with DLCs over and over and over again, Psyonix has new cars, and yet here we are. Everybody still goes back to the octane. You get a little bit of hype on a new car for a while, and then they go back to the octane. You watch professional players play, the majority of them play with the octane. Everybody wants the octane, everybody wants painted octanes. So if you look at the last video compared to this video, it's pretty similar. There's just more people that predict the prices are going to go up, and less people predict the prices are going to stay the same. If you look at the traders, the majority of the traders concur that prices of the painted octanes will continue to rise. So just keep that in mind. If you have a few extra keys, maybe buy a painted octane. Focus on the more popular colors, not the colors that are hard. Some of the colors are kind of hard to use, like lime, pink, you know, things like that are a little bit harder to use. So white octane, which is extremely expensive. I guess gray is one that people want now. And let's see, sky blue, crimson is a really good one. So just focus on some of the more popular colors that are easy to build cars on, and I think you can't lose on this one, at least for like the next month or two. All right, so next up we have the Voltaics, and this is kind of like my favorite investment right now. A couple months ago, I started buying Crimson Voltaics because the prices were extremely cheap. They were down to like 23 keys or something like that. And Crimson Voltaics used to be well over 100 keys. Like they were the first original expensive wheel. Okay, the Crimson Voltaics were OP. Everybody wanted them, and they lost a lot of attention and luster since then. However, Psyonix threw us a curveball, and they removed Voltaics out of the PCC crate altogether. Okay, so the only way to get Voltaics now is to open a retired CC2 crate. That means that the supply is pretty much, and nobody even wants to open CC2 crates at all. So like the supply of Voltaics is pretty much non-existent, and all you have in the market today is all that's going to remain. So if there's any type of demand whatsoever, you're going to see prices go up. Now, we've seen a lot of speculation buying from traders because of these reasons, obviously, but eventually you should see like a natural demand for Voltaics because a lot of people love them. I mean, you have the friction trails, you have the boost, and you have the decal that came with the accelerator crate. It's the Stormy one, I think, for the Jaeger. So you're seeing a lot of this theme in a lot of different items, and it makes sense, right? So anyways, if you look at the week prior, it was 54% predicted of the market, or the community predicted up, 30% down. If you look at this week's, it's completely different. It's 76% predicted up, 14% down, and 10% stay the same. Now, what's really interesting though is that less traders think that it's going to go up this week than last week. So last week we had 3 traders up, 2 to stay. This week we only have 2 traders who think it's going to go up and 4 to stay. So just keep that in mind, guys. I think a lot of traders are conservative about this because they're seeing a consolidation pattern. Voltaics hit that huge spike up, and then now they've kind of just stayed the same. So I think the traders are predicting it's going to go, stay the same for a long time, or maybe possibly go down in the future. But I don't. I still think there's a lot of upside, but you should make your own decision going forward. I haven't sold any of my crystal voltaics. I still own all 8 or 9 or however many I have. So, but that's for you. That's your call. All right, so next up we have Bubbly, and Bubbly is really interesting. First off, you can only get it in the Nitro crate. You can't get it out of any other crate, and at some point Sonics is gonna retire the Nitro crate. So I think Bubbly has a huge chance to just explode to the upside. But what we've seen recently is just a small trickle increase, whereas a lot of the black market decals did go up, but then they pulled back. Bubbly is the only one that's continued to go up. And again, it's not just the supply in the crate, but the fact that black market decals at all, Sonics hasn't been making any new black market decals. They've only been focused on gold explosions. So I think decals in general have the potential for a lot of upside. Bubbly is just the one with the least amount of supply and the best history, the best recent history of prices. But what's really interesting is if you look at the community from the last video to today's video, they were higher on the upside last time, 24%, and now it's only 17%. But they're lower on the downside. Last time, on the last video, there was a 62% prediction that it would go down, and this time only 46%. So what you're seeing is an increase in the votes on that the price is going to stay the same, and I think that's good. So I think people are starting to turn around to this idea that the Bubbly isn't necessarily going anywhere, and maybe they think it's going to go middle round. I don't know how to explain that, but that's what people are saying. But in the traders is where it's really interesting. The majority of the traders have switched to up or stay, whereas last time I was the only one predicting they would go up. Everybody else thought they would stay the same or go down. So I think Bubbly's a really interesting choice. I haven't invested in Bubbly myself. I only have the one striker one because I own every single black market decal. But I might actually buy 1 or 2 just to have, probably not as an investment, but because I might need it for a future video or something like that. And I'd rather buy it cheaper today than buy it more expensive tomorrow. Okay, I only have 2 more items to talk about. Next up is Apex. All right, so this one's really interesting. Okay, so Sonics told us that they're releasing drops for different events outside of RLCS now. Now that's kind of scary, right? Because now the sky's the limit. Like, are they going to do it for every type of competitive Rocket League esports? I mean, we just don't know at this point what's going to happen with these drops. But it is, for investors, it is kind of scary because we have to take that into consideration that there's no confidence in the supply anymore. We don't, I mean, the drops are still pretty rare, especially like the painted Apex drops during these events, but we just don't know how many events they're going to do it. It could be every weekend going forward. We just don't know, right? So Apex, you're seeing a lot of mixed feelings in the market. Like, look at the numbers. So from last week, the community has gone up in its prediction. The last video was 27%. This time it's 33%. A lot less people think it's going to go down. Last time it was 45%. This time it's 23%. And a lot of more people think it's going to stay the same at 44%. The traders are mixed all across the board. 2 of them think it's going up, 2 think it's going down, 2 think it's going to stay the same. Apex are just a wild card. I think you're going to see a lot of volatility. I don't know that, unless you're just like a really risky trader, I don't think the Apex are a smart decision because nobody knows where they're going to go from now. And all we know is that Sonics is adding more supply into the market. So just keep that in mind, guys. I love the Apex wheels. I really wish they'd continue to go up. I have a full set myself, but I just don't see how they could, honestly, if the supply just keeps going up. All right, so the last item I'm going to talk about are the Halloween items. Now, during the last video, I thought that Halloween items would go up, and then I changed my mind when I told you guys in the last video that I was going to start buying Halloween items, and I did. I started buying them, and when I did that, I started doing some research, and I realized that the prices, like the actual prices, like what people were asking for and what people were paying, were lower than what I was seeing on Sujuke's price spreadsheet, and there was a ton of selling pressure and very little buying pressure. I don't think that Halloween items are going to go up in the near future at all, just based on the data, right? So I actually have completely changed my vote from up to down, and the community very strongly agrees that it's going to go down, and that's what they predicted last time too. So good job, guys. I think you're right, and I'm going to agree with you. Right now, there's only one trader who thinks they're going to go up, 2 down, and then 3 think that they're going to stay at the same price. I mean, there's a good chance that they will stay at a similar price that what they are today, right? Like you might not see much more down movement, but again, with the selling pressure, like if you go to rl-trades.com and just do any query on any Halloween item, you're gonna see way more seller offers than you're gonna see buy offers. So anytime you have that much selling pressure, it's not a good time to buy. Wait until people have completed selling their items and then start buying, and maybe you'll see some profit. I don't know. I just don't think that it has a long-term future. So I'm just going to buy the items I need for my road to everything, and I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to invest in any Halloween items personally. That's the end of the video, guys. Again, if you enjoyed this, if you learned anything, or if you appreciate this, please leave a like, leave a comment down below, let me know. Also, if you want to get involved, join the Discord server so that you can vote in the poll. And if you want to see other items in the next video, please let me know in the comments down below. I saw some comments from the last video, and I will include those in the next video as well. But the more feedback, the better job that I can do. So again, let me know. That's the video, guys. I hope that you learned something. I hope that this was useful to you, and we'll talk to you later.